even the correctional facility, because they have specialties in there.
Oh, almost fell. So we're about to get started. Welcome, Instagramly and friends. Thank you for tuning in to Talented Tuesdays. I'm your host, Kai Speaks, aka Mr. 215 to 305, aka One Chain. We got our guest over here, John, who is very interesting. We got a good show for you guys. But before we get into the show, I want John to introduce himself, tell us where he came from, how he ended up in Miami, and just a little background about yourself.
All right, cool. So I'm actually originally from New York. When I was getting ready to go to college, I decided I wanted to go to HBCU. And I had a couple friends that I was friends with in Rochester. So I went down there to Houston, Texas. Went to TSU, Texas Southern. After school ended, I really wanted to move somewhere where life is big and where I could succeed in my career. So I really just took that limb and moved out to Miami. After I moved out to Miami, I really didn't have anything set up, but I'm a smart kid. I used my head and I got a really good job at a recruiting agency, Maxim. And right now I've just been working there since I moved here.
Mm-hmm. And feel free to ask questions, you guys. Anything that I feel to ask Jonathan, you got the comment section right there. Just make sure you keep all the comments positive, all the questions positive. It don't have to be questions. You can just comment, emojis, whatever. If you like something you hear, feel free to let us know. And we're gonna touch on everything that you just mentioned, Jonathan. But first, I want to ask you, what factors played a role in you choosing to pursue an HBCU for undergrad?
I really wanted to connect with my culture. I went to an all-white high school, so I wanted to get back to the black side of things. Really understand where black people came from, and kind of just understand how professional black people are, because there's a difference of obviously black people that are from the hood and black people that are scholars. So I wanted to see that side,
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like going to HBCU, I got to see that side. I got to see people like me. That's really the factors that led to it.
Yeah, so basically diversity and everything.
Yeah.
You even got black people that are from forgotten neighborhoods, and they end up being scholars too. So
exactly.
It's especially moving down in Miami. I noticed that even that the diaspora, say what it might be in New York or Philly or Houston, and Miami is so much different because the diaspora is so much wider and so more vague. Like a person is not just black,
right,
but they could be Haitian or Jamaican. They can be anything. You got a whole lot of factors that come into play. So Miss AK85, she commented, I love my HBCU. So we got HBCUs repping tonight.
Yeah,
shout out Cheney, shout out Texas Southern, shout out all the HBCUs that are watching, shout out everybody else that's tuned in to Talented Tuesdays as well. So while you were at Texas Southern, what are some things that you got involved in that kind of played a role in to you pursuing your career now?
So I was at TSU. I was a part of NAACP. Mm-hmm. I was part of my healthcare organization because I was a healthcare major.
Mm-hmm.
I was also the mascot of the school, so that was kind of like just to get involved with the school, because HBCUs are as big as Pride and shit. Curse?
No, it's all good.
But yeah, so that's what I kind of did a little bit at school. I just had to have my hand in everything, especially the books.
Okay, and so mascot, you were the actual physical mascot or an ambassador type of mascot?
No, I was the actual physical mascot.
Okay, how was that?
It was different. First I got a scholarship, so 2 years of school got paid for free. So you can't
for being the mascot.
Yeah, you can't lose.
How did you get that?
It was actually this girl that I really liked. She told me about this opportunity about the scholarship. And I was like, all right. She's like, nah, you get your whole schooling free. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. So I started doing it, and it was free. Summer school,
I would do it too. I'm just saying, I didn't even know that they gave out scholarships for the mascot. So you were at the football games, basketball games, everything like that?
Football games, basketball games. I went to Bahamas for free. I went to almost 10 states, free hotels.
So you traveled for the games and everything like that?
Yeah.
Dang, that's a pretty dope experience.
Yeah.
So, all right. So fast forward, you graduated undergrad and everything like that, and now you're deciding to, you know, go on that limb and move from Houston to Miami, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you made that move. You, like we were talking earlier in the week, you basically was telling me how it was like a whim, like you didn't have a job set up or anything like that. You just decided to move to Miami. What are some things that went into, like, were you sure of certain things before you made the move, or was it literally just a jump, like I'm going to move to Miami and that's what you did?
So I was sure that I had graduated from college, so I had that degree behind me, and I was sure that, you know, I'm always gonna figure stuff out because I'm real smart, and like I said, I kind of use, you know, strategic things to get me ahead. So I kind of know where I want to go. So I knew any place I went that I would find what I wanted to do or how I wanted to go one way or another. So I kind of just did that. But before I actually moved, I applied to a lot of jobs. I budgeted out my money, you know, make sure I had enough. I budgeted out things within that small time frame. It wasn't like budgeting for months. It was maybe like, all right, I want to move next week or next month. Let me budget real quick and try to get this together. So it's just all about how bad you want it.
So, okay, so this is, I'm pretty sure this segment is going to be a lot of nuggets for those who are thinking about moving away from home or thinking about making those jumps to further their career and everything like that. So tell us, like, how much money did you have saved before you made the move? And how did you go about finding apartments and stuff like that?
Well, I did have a couple grand in the bank, only because I was working in my field right out of college. I got lucky to be able to work in my field right out of college. I didn't like the opportunity that I was given, so I wanted to go somewhere where at least I'll be happy in the setting that I was. Houston was good, but I've been there for a couple years, so I was like, let me go somewhere else. So I only had a couple grand in the bank, but I used that money, I flipped it. I knew I could get a job that I had before. I previously worked in a retail job, so I knew I could maybe do that for a couple of weeks if I had to, or I knew I could do like some online stuff to get some money, you know, just basically using my brain to see what I had in case something happened. But yeah, just a couple, maybe like 2 grand at the most. Yeah.
And did you have a car? Did you drive? Did you fly?
Yeah, I had a car, so I just packed up all my stuff literally in the car and just drove.
Okay, so Miss AKA said flip. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what you mean by, like, you flipped the money that you had saved to make it a little bit more?
Yeah, so you can do like Bitcoin. You can invest your money. Another thing you can do is resell stuff. So you buy something and you resell it at a higher value. They teach you about it a lot online. So some items that you might get, like say you get something for somebody else, like a pair of shoes. You got a pair of shoes. You can flip it online and make double the money. Just you guys gotta play with the websites, play with the wording, and you can make a lot of money by flipping stuff.
Okay, and Bitcoin, I'm familiar with that and everything like that. Have you ever heard of acorns investing as well, where like, you know, you like get gas and your gas comes out to like 23.57? It would take that additional 43 cents and invest it into something. Do you ever try that?
No, I've never heard of that actually.
Oh,
that's
wow.
new.
Yeah. I tried it for a little bit, and then all of a sudden I fell off of it. But I know some people that actually it really works. It works well for them. So you know that's also an option for you guys as well. So that's the answer for you, Mr. 85. Flipping things, like, you know, buying and reselling. I think that might be the strongest. That might be the best way to flip something. You got people that give you stuff for free all the time. Yeah. If you don't need it. A lot of people tend to hoard things, especially when they're giving free things. Might as well just flip it. Okay, so how did you find your apartment? Were you looking? I'm sure you were looking while you were in Houston before you moved. How long did it take you to find an apartment? And especially since you lived in Houston, how did you go about seeing your apartment before you moved in?
Well, I was kind of fortunate. I did have a couple friends that live here, so I just slept on their couch for maybe 2 weeks or so. So I figured out where I wanted to live. You know, sourcing, going out, looking on Craigslist. I wouldn't say it's the best option. I ran into a lot of scams on there. Yeah. But if you look on rentapartments.com, something like that. Talk to people. Networking is a big source I use. Talking to realtors, things like that. Eventually, you'll find something. If you practice what you do every day a little bit more, you'll figure it out. Yeah,
Zillow is also a good site to go to as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you got to Miami, you said you knew where to plug yourself in to, you know, increase your network. Where are the first areas that you were going out to explore so you can try and build that network and meet new people?
Well, I'm a medical major, at healthcare administration, so I used Eventbrite and I used all their networking events that they had. I signed up for every single one, and every single day I was here from the first day I got here until just about the time I got my job. I went to a networking event every single day, and I met tons of people in the industry, tons of people that's not in my industry, but it's still valuable to me.
That's interesting. What advice can you give to those people that are very, I don't want to use the word antisocial, but just a little more reserved when it comes to getting out there trying to meet new people? Like they rather take the natural approach as far as putting them out in an actual networking event where there are like dozens to hundreds of people in one setting where you can meet.
Right. So I say if you're kind of antisocial, or you don't like to be around people too much, I say use LinkedIn, use your online search. Everybody likes social media. Use that as a platform. There's professional people on there. There's people that have the same interests as you that can help you out. Use that. Use LinkedIn. Use any online source you can to try and connect with people, and then you'll get an opportunity eventually.
And I will add, the saying "closed mouths don't get fed." That's very true. So eventually you're gonna have to open your mouth if you want things to go your way, because people don't know if you don't say.
Right.
And that just goes to show for networking as well. And so at one of those networking events is how you got the job at Maxim, or you applied to Maxim back when you were in Houston and everything, and they finally got to you?
Craziest story. Maxim called me a week after I moved to Miami. Maxim called me, and I kind of brushed it off, and I actually didn't go to the interview, didn't really call the lady back. And I was just networking, double back around 3 months later, she calls me again. I take the interview, and I end up getting the position. Crazy. It was one of the best positions I could have been in.
Did she, was it the same lady?
Same lady.
Did she ask you why you didn't come to the first interview?
Yeah, so she asked me, I think I tried to connect with you, about a couple months ago. What happened? And I said, I was just moving here, trying to get everything situated. I didn't know. And then she was like, okay, well, I'm glad we got connected again. And it's crazy. And I mean, what's meant for you is meant for you.
And tell us a little bit about Maxim and what they are.
So Maxim is a healthcare staffing agency. We staff for doctors, nurses, any specialty that's in a hospital setting. And we basically take the relief off the client, which is the hospital. So we'll hire these OR nurses or these clinicians, and we'll place them into hospitals, and they'll work through us. So we'll be their HR team, we'll be their grievance team. Anything they need, they'll come to us.
And you train them as well?
Yes, we train them as well.
Okay, and could you go into more depth of what your position is with Maxim and what you do?
So I'm actually a staffing recruiter. So I source candidates each day. I find candidates each day, and I fill them into positions that we have available. So our business manager, to give you a little pyramid scheme to it, our business manager goes out there and she talks to hospitals and get contracts for us. So get places that we can send doctors and nurses to. So my job is basically to hire on those nurses and make sure they're qualified and send them to the hospitals so they can work.
And we have a quick question from the audience. Is it only hospitals that you guys work through?
No. We do have a home care side, and they focus more on like nurses inside the home. But on the staffing side, we focus more of like specialties, so clinics, hospitals, detention centers, even the correctional facilities, because they have specialties in there.
And do you guys only work with clinicians and nurses, or do you also work with home health aides? Because I know they may not they're not technically nurses or clinicians.
Right. So the home care side, definitely they work with like home health aides. They work with CNAs, and they work with nurses. And then on our side, we work with like nurses. We even work with like teacher assistants, CNAs, and MAs, medical assistants.
True. And I'm pretty sure like you have probably like a pretty hectic day-to-day schedule when it comes to like trying to recruit and try to fill those positions fast, and especially if you get a new contract, they need, so you got to provide. What is your day look like, your schedule look like on a day-to-day basis, to where you go from getting the contract, or you have word that you need nurses, to recruiting those nurses, to training them and placing them?
So on a day-to-day, really I start off just by sourcing a whole bunch of lists. I figure out what I want to source for that day, see what need is open, and then I source for all those candidates for a good chunk of the time. After that is basically like submitting to the HR team at the hospital to see if they like the candidate. And once I figure out if they like the candidate, I set up an interview process, get them out there, present the best of them that I can present, and then once they get if the HR team likes them, they'll move forward, and that's when I'll do like the orientation. That all doesn't happen in one day. I say mostly the days is just sourcing for candidates. Maybe 1 or 2 days out the week is mostly like orientation, which I would divide my day by sourcing in the morning, the orientation more in the afternoon.
Word. Hey, shout out Dwayne, shout out Estrell, baby, the real McCoy, Watch Line Lose. I see you guys just tuned in. Thank you for tuning in to Talented Tuesdays. We got a couple questions. Watch Line Lose. She asked, how would someone inquire about getting into a position with Maxim?
So actually, I'm gonna just shout my email out here. If you just email me and you live in the Miami area, if you don't live in the Miami area and you need a job, you can email me at JOMCLEAN@MAXHEALTH.com. So it's JOMclean@maxhealth.com.
Yeah, and I'm gonna drop that on the YouTube video. Feel free to check it out tomorrow or Thursday when it drops. Subscribe to Kai Speaks TV so you can get alerted when it does drop, and then I'll put that information in there as well. So yeah, so just like you say, even if you don't live in Miami, Maxim is I'm pretty sure a big company. So what other areas is Maxim located?
So we're all actually located all across the U.S. So I can basically get you a job all across the U.S. Especially if you're a nurse. Even if you're not a nurse, if you're in the medical field, I can still help you out in some way.
Okay. And do you utilize, especially in like the industry that you're in, do you utilize LinkedIn a lot?
Yes. So it's like a daily basis. I'm utilizing LinkedIn.
Okay. So like, what is your main functions of LinkedIn? Like, what are you like making posts? Are you seeking out? Because I know how to use LinkedIn, but the way I use LinkedIn is more so the same way that I use Facebook, just for post accomplishments and things like that. Gotcha. So how do you use LinkedIn?
So the way I use LinkedIn is just connecting with all types of medical professionals. Well, not DM, but message them, try to get more information, try to see if they have any referrals for me. I make posts, a lot of marketing. Shout out to this guy named Brian I work with. He does all the posts for me, and I post those. And it's cool because it helps me a lot. I get a lot of hits off there. You know, a lot of people are looking for jobs, and I get to help them out, and they help me out.
And do you see yourself, you know, being a coordinator for a while? What is your long-term goal, whether it be with Maxim, whether it be somewhere else? What is your long-term goal in the health industry?
So my long-term goal is to open my own business. I always want to open my own medical spa. And that's actually one of the reasons I moved down here. That's maybe a 5 to 10 year goal. Right now, focus on this recruiting stuff, get my feet wet with that. But long term, I do want to open my own medical spa, get a couple nurses in there, get a doctor in there, and really make it happen.
Now you're saying medical spa or medical spa?
Medical spa.
Okay,
SPA.
Okay, where did you get the idea to start the medical spa?
Really in college, we learned all about different type of healthcare facilities, and I kind of figured out what I like the best. I don't like when people are in pain. I kind of like when they come to your facility because they want to be there. And I feel like everybody is obsessed with like cosmetic surgery now, so I feel like it could be very profitable.
Yeah, definitely. And tell us a little bit about, because I never heard of a medical spa. What exactly is it? Is it like for recovery? Is it for like a rehab?
So there's two types. There's one with minor surgery, and then there's one with kind of like major surgery, like kind of like when they cut you open and do lipo. They have now they have ones where you can like freeze the lipo off. You can get Botox. You can get enhancements. You can get different type of like injections, like vitamin B injections. You can get anything invasive that doesn't require surgery within like a couple hours span, 30 to like 2 hour span. That's what I kind of want to do, have in my facility. So you might come there and get like, hey, I want to get like this fat frozen off my body. Or you might come there and say, hey, I just want to get some Botox. it's still a lot of money.
I'm pretty sure it's a lot of money, but it's also a lot of preparation too. What are some of the things that, I know it's a long-term goal of yours, but what are some of the things that you have to do or start now in preparation of, making sure that that goal is accomplishable?
Yeah, well, I've really been kind of planning since I actually my sophomore year in college. But it's really about building a business plan, writing out your ideas, writing out your steps. You might not have the exact money or the exact what you need right now, but if you write out those steps, plan a business plan ahead, try to get some grants going, try to open a facility. What am I going to need? How many people on my staff I'm going to need? What type of surgery do I want to have? Like, a lot of stuff is really expensive. So you want to realize, hey, do I want this or do I want that? Just kind of framing that business goal ahead of time, that really gets you far.
And shout out to everybody who's been asking questions. I really appreciate you. Waving back at you, Dwayne. Miss AK85 asked, is their location in Philly? But Lon, she did touch on it and said they have an office in Philly already. Thanks, Lon, for helping us out. So guys, I have a couple more questions for Jonathan. Feel free to ask any additional questions that you have in the comment section below. So my question for you, Jonathan, is how do you plan on reaching the youth with your medical experience?
Yeah, so I definitely want to give back, especially to HBCUs. I definitely want to do scholarship programs, so I definitely want to give back to my school once I build my own business. Also, I want to hire on a lot of people that graduate from my school or HBCU versus other schools. Nothing wrong with PWIs or anything like that, but I like to give back to my people. I definitely want to build some type of foundation. That's a long-term goal, definitely a foundation. This is just a couple of things I want to do like that, just to give back, but majority to HBCU, because I know how bad they need the funding and how bad they need things.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. And to piggyback off what you said, there's nothing wrong. Well, if you did go to HBCU, there's nothing wrong with that. But of course, the first thing that I was thinking about ways that I could give back when I started the GoldenKey Foundation was helping Cheney, giving back to Cheney, trying to get students to go to Cheney, trying to give students that are currently at Cheney scholarships to jobs and stuff like that. The drive and the focus is at Cheney. So it's like, and I'm pretty sure whatever school you go to, if you start something major, the first place you're trying to give back to is most likely the school that you came from.
Right.
So, a lot of people take it to offense when you say stuff like that, but then if you put it in perspective, you'll most likely do the same thing as well.
Exactly.
So, my question for you, Jonathan, I ask this question every week, and that's the red pill or the blue pill. Okay. So we're getting ready to wrap it up. And so if you had the red pill, you go forward 10 years, but you have $5 million liquid in your bank account when you wake up.
Okay.
You take the blue pill, you go backwards 10 years, but you know everything that you know now. Which pill are you taking?
I say maybe the one you go back, the blue one.
Yeah, the blue pill.
The one you go back. And the reason I say that is because if I knew what I knew now, I'll be better. I would be a lot further than I am, because I would know, I already can make it to this level, so I can kind of force myself to make it even greater level. I know what I'm capable of, so if I would have knew that back then, I would be even higher than I am now.
Feel free to plug yourself in, tell people where they can find you. Again, reiterate that you're a recruiter. People might be looking for jobs, where they can contact you and everything like that as well.
Yeah, so I work at Maxim. I'm a healthcare recruiter. If you need any help if you're in the medical field, need any help finding a job, you can reach out to me. My Instagram is Jonathan McLean, real simple, JONATHAN MCLEAN, like the guy off of Die Hard. And I don't really have Twitter, Facebook, nothing like that. But again, follow me on Instagram. If you need to hit me up through email, it's on my Instagram, but it's jonathanmclean22@gmail.com.
Okay. And remember, Talented Tuesdays is all about reaching out to the youth and trying to let them see that there are different types of talents out there. Like Jonathan, he's talented at recruiting people and putting them in the right positions that they need to get in, and we need people like that all the time. You feel me? So it's all about the youth, man. To share with you guys that we're starting a new show called the Imagine You Project, TGK, which is basically Talented Tuesdays, but we're featuring kids that are talented as well. And then with that, we're trying to give back to them, give them something to continue their creative efforts. Like say we have an artist on the show, you know, give them a gift basket where they can, you know, continue to draw, continue to create. So that's the next thing we start, and that's starting December 6th is the launch date of that. So, you know, stay tuned for that. And that's going to be airing every Thursday. So you got Talented Tuesdays to look for on Tuesday. You got Imagine You to look forward to on Thursdays. And don't forget that I mentioned we got Get Fit Fridays with Kelly Reyes coming soon as well. So, you know, we almost have a full week. Like, it's just everything's growing so fast. I'm proud of everything that we're doing. I'm glad I got you on the show, Jonathan. Appreciate it. Guys, feel free to, you know, you can still leave comments. If you tuned in late, you can check out Kai Speaks TV on YouTube to see the rest of the episode. Also, you see I got I'm rooting for everybody black shirt on, you know, with everything, especially Nike coming out of the woodwork supporting Colin Kaepernick.
Colin.
They came out of, you know, so many people are mad at that, so, you know, I had to throw this shirt on today. Shout out Royal Pieces for the hookup. But, you know, the Green Mile 717 say yes. So, you know, appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is a short episode today, but I appreciate you guys. Again, this is Kai Speaks, and we're out.